Good evening and welcome to the July 9th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. If everybody rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, welcome and thanks for you folks for being here or tuning in. We'll go right through the agenda. Any public, we have no public hearing. Any announcements on the board?
Nothing.
Okay. Additions, deletions to the agenda.
I did have one. I would like Christine to come in under the next item and just talk very briefly about election question timing. And told her to be in here for 6, so she must be busy with her customers.
Okay, well,
And she's doing a marriage license, so
okay.
those take up to an hour.
We'll give her a minute when she comes in. I mean, when she's done.
Let's have a pause when she's available.
Okay. Any public comments for anyone that would like to comment that's not a subject that's on the agenda? Okay, we will move on. Correspondence, the treasurer's reports and the motor vehicle excise tax reports are available. Anybody's interested, please give a call to the town office here. Reports and staff initiatives, selectmen's reports. Tim, anything?
Nothing for me, thanks.
Ted?
I'd just like to express my condolences to Nancy Johnson's family.
Okay. Good.
I'm all set.
All right.
We had one other long-time town person that passed away this weekend through Tommy Conduit.
Oh, really?
I
I didn't hear that.
didn't hear that either.
He had leukemia.
Oh, no kidding. It's scary when all your classmates start passing away. Oh, here she is. Why don't you come in right now? We'll give you the floor right here.
Up here?
Sure.
Yep. And
My favorite place.
We were talking today, we've been talking constantly about elections, but in terms of programming the sticks that go into the machine, Christine had a new deadline that she got either today or yesterday about just whether or not we're going to have a question. It's not the wording of the question. We have until September 6th to determine the verbiage of that question and finalize the warrant September 6th. So Selectmen should know you've got 3 more meetings after tonight to finalize any ballot question you might have. I'm not saying you will. We've been talking about the ATV ordinance as one possibility.
yeah.
But Christine can go over some of the information relating to this.
So the coding sticks for this term, because there's no people on the ballots, we can, what they call piggyback the sticks, so we can run the machines with our local ballot and the state ballot without having to be much easier. You've got 2 ballots, you can put them both in the same machine so you don't have to worry. But in terms of that, I have to let the state know by the 26th of this month if we're going to have a question. So you have 1 more meeting after this. I don't, like Gary said, I don't need the verbiage, but I need to know if we're going to have a question for them. And if you're going to have 1 or 2 or how long it could be, 1 page, 2 page if possible. Probably 1 at this point. So that is really what.
I think we have that on next week's agenda. On next time's agenda, Sherry, right?
The ATV ordinance.
Because we wanted to make sure everybody was here.
Yeah, I sent the sticks back to the state today, so they'll forward them on to ES&S for programming if we decide. That's why they need to know in time.
Right.
So, but that's really.
So we've got our next meeting.
That's
They
it.
give you a thumbs up. Right?
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
That's all I needed.
She's going to finalize the timetable. We'll probably hand that out to you 2 weeks from tonight of all the other things that need to happen between now and the November election.
All of our posting dates and all of our stuff that we need to have.
Yeah,
So we're
we
ready to
really
go.
didn't talk about any other referendum.
I don't remember anything other than ATV.
Okay. All right.
That was it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's it. Perfect.
You can stay longer if
You're
you'd like.
welcome anytime.
Oh, thanks.
Speaking about ATVs, I was informed today that the ATV Club was informed that they just received a $74,000 municipal grant to help develop trails and stuff and help with the, what's the state trail that goes on the pole line? I can't even remember with the terminology, but it's a.
It has a route number.
State designated trail, but anyway. So, it's been a couple of years since they've had a municipal grant, but, I guess they were told today this was pretty steep at 74,000.
Yeah, this is larger. The last one was 30s, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Good.
Gary,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let's talk about new positions that were approved in the budget. The Assistant to the Recreation Director position, which is a new job with a new job description, was posted, and you'll be seeing it in the Smart Shopper Reporter and on the MMA website. And applications are due by Friday the 2nd. I received an application today. And the new Public Works position, we should have that all gussied up with a new job description as well, since that one will probably be 50% transportation of recycling and rubbish in terms of the actual workload on that person. And we hope by the end of next week we'll have that advertised as well. Concerning the vehicles that were approved in the budget, the trash truck, the trash container hauling truck, we chose the vendor quite some time ago, Whitehead Truck Center. It's a Peterbilt, and it came in $133 over what was budgeted there, so we'll make up that difference with a separate check, and the truck is ready. So when we close on this next week, as soon as we get it insured, we will be able to get that. And David will be able to start training with it, with staff, and get it ready so that in, I don't know, late July or certainly by the end of August, when our contract runs out with Casella, we'll be able to be functional. On a similar note, I talked with Joanne Andrews today, who said that Herrick would be interested in being our backup hauler if our truck was down. Casella said they would not do that, even for a price. So I said, okay, thank you. We'll go shopping for somebody else. I put a call into Herrick. I haven't talked to anybody yet, but they said they would be interested in doing that. The fire department pickup truck, we had 12 bids submitted. Only 4 of those units were in stock. And you remember how long we waited for the Public Works pickup truck, which was what, 4 or 5 months, if not more? We didn't want to get involved in that. So we looked at the 4 units that were in stock in that list that you have before you. The bids ranged from a little over $34,000 to a little over $37,000. And fire department staff picked the Arundel Fords one as the most valuable, and the features that were in there were the backup camera, larger wheels, and thinking about those times in the woods, going up Ossipee Mountain if you have to, some protection for the undercarriage and transmission and oil pan. So recommendation is for $37,500, which is under the $40,000 budgeted figure. I got a nice call from DOT civil engineer today explaining what's going on with the various, 2 of the 3 paving projects here. We're not going to have gravel shoulders on the Route 5 section between here and Subway. What we're going to have is a sloped, kind of a half-loamed ditch right on the edge of the pavement. So the gravel shoulders will not extend out anymore. They hope to start on that tomorrow. And I've asked them to do between here and the middle school entrance because there's a parade Saturday. They're very much aware of that. Not that you can drive off into a 3-to-1 slope, but at least for the Shriner vehicles, we wanted to try and make it a little safer. And if they couldn't do that, they were going to put up some more Chevron edge of the road signs to be a little safer there. The reason we're not getting gravel shoulders is the paved lanes went from 12 to 16 feet. So we have about 7 to 8 feet of more pavement from edge to edge than we did before. Moving up to the Dollar General to the Limerick line, 2 more shims, one more shim over the entire paved surface. Should be done by the end of next weekend, weather permitting. And from Townhouse Road to Dollar General, this gentleman had no idea when that's going to be done. He thought it was still in this paving season, but he didn't even know what month. Wasn't his responsibility. And the reason I got for why the pavement is so thick on Route 5 was Proper slopes on turns. I hadn't even had a chance to talk with David about that, but that was his civil engineering answer, which I guess in terms of slopes and turns can make sense, but that's the answer I got.
Well, if
for
you
that.
don't do anything for 30 some odd years on the road, right, you're gonna have to.
Well, they didn't have an explanation for me last Wednesday on why they put so much on the center line. The original plan from the original pre-construction meeting was 3 to 4 inches at a time, and then they would bring the shoulder up at the same depth. And the first 2 or 3 shim poles, there was not gonna be anything on the center line. And when they started right out with this much on the center line. It was totally different than what they explained to us at the original meeting. The road it's very high.
Yeah.
There are some driveways.
Yeah, you get a little bit dizzy now driving over that road because of the elevation.
Pardon?
You get a little dizzy now driving over that road because of the elevation.
David's been going to the Wednesday morning, right?
Yeah.
Meetings. He'll go tomorrow, and when he can't, I will. And I guess the only other thing, Old Home Days this weekend. I'll be here to open up the building Saturday morning. The parade folks start queuing up here at 9. The parade is at 10, leaving from here and Townhouse Road, going on Route 5 down to the middle school entrance, and then fireworks Saturday night at dusk. So hope to see everybody there. That's it from me, thank you.
So from here to the middle school.
Yes, on Route 5, not Old Alfred.
Okay.
Just a note on the Old Home Days, the fireworks. If anybody's on Facebook, they might want to just keep an eye out. There was somebody in Sanford that said that to go to the fireworks in Waterboro, they're held at the high school. So I sent them a little message back. I said, if you go to the high school, you'll be sitting there all by yourself, and you won't see any fireworks because it's going to be at the middle school. So.
Okay. Yeah, you might want to let the Shriners know that they got to bring their little tow truck, just in case
Yeah,
somebody
maybe
was
they
off
should bring
the
2 or 3 tow trucks in case they run off the edge of the road.
All right. They usually have one or two that they have to drag back. Anything else?
Not from me.
All right, let's jump right into new business. Discuss vote to approve a tax abatement for Whitson lumber. And there's a bunch of sheets in here, but I think the explanation is that the age of their personal property has been now taken into an account.
Yeah. They were not paying for a long, long time, which is a common theme with a lot of personal property. I'm sure they will tell you that. So she tries to schedule on-site visits when she can. She got Mrs. Woodson, and I don't know which Mrs. Woodson it was. But anyway, they went on site, and for the record, they have a 1950 sawmill, 1980 forklift, and a 1978 backhoe. Shirley took that information, came back, and made what was about a, 40% plus or minus discount on the 2 years that you folks can do. She abated the first year proportionally like she can do with her authority, and the rest, the owner said that they would come in and pay in full.
Okay. What is your pleasure, folks?
Move to approve the abatement.
Okay, been moved. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Just remind anyone that does have personal property that it is the responsibility of the person that owns the personal property to report the value of that April 1st of every year. And that is per state law. And I believe that we do send out a notice requesting any update. So there should not be a reason for having older than what we have listed equipment without being notified by the owner. So, well, and no other discussion. All those in favor? Opposed?
4-0. Thank you.
Motion carries. All right. Discuss Vote to accept the resignation of Lee Nelson from the planning board. I have a note from, actually from Tammy, right? Lee Nelson notified me Tuesday, June 20th, that he had spoken to Tim Neal, granting a resignation from the planning board. He will not be attending the July 10th meeting, so I guess that is an official notification of what we're going to get other than what Tim had previously sent out to the board. So I would entertain a motion to accept the resignation.
So moved.
Seconded. With regret.
Okay? I think you'd accept that with regrets, Gordon, on your motion.
Yes.
I didn't make the motion.
I did. Ted did.
Oh, 10. Well, I heard it. I'm sorry.
It was on this side of the table.
Okay, it was on that side. It's my bad ear. Anyway, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Get back to page one. Bond authorization, order discussion and approval.
Okay. Today, I got a sizable packet of documents. The one thing for the entire board to do here is to pass, to approve rather, and then for all of you to sign the second page authorizing, essentially what it does is authorizes Dennis as the chair of the board and myself and either Julie or Christine in their respective positions to sign the documents for these two trucks. That's all this order does that's before you that was in your packet. So I would ask that you say yay or nay to that. Dennis will have to sign a few things tonight in addition to that, but you folks would sign one document, which is page 2 of what was in your packet.
Okay. So do we need a vote, an affirmative vote?
We do.
Okay. So I'd entertain a motion to approve the, what are we calling it?
Bond authorization.
Bond authorization.
So
Bond
moved.
authorization order. Been moved by Ted,
Second,
second by Gordon.
want to keep it all on this
Yeah,
side of the
keep it
table.
all that side. Any discussion? All those in favor?
0, thank you.
On that. Discussion to vote to approve municipal quitclaim deed for map 19, lot 20. This is, I guess, clears up back liens.
It came in and paid $5,800 and change, all 3 years in arrears, and are back to stuff.
Motion to approve.
Been moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? I guess I'll need to do that. Okay, thank you, folks.
Just a quick note for the chair. I don't know if you got Sunday's paper, but they have a big full-page article in there where they're accepting applications at the different hearing centers around for
Yeah, thank you.
free hearing tests and so forth.
Huh?
Yeah.
All right, next item, set Susie Lane's sidewalk date and time. I think we tentatively said the 16th,
Yes.
Correct.
okay, so,
We didn't have a time when we left that night, though.
yeah, I mean, we're gonna be there
16.
1/6. Did you hear what he said about the paper, the ad in the paper?
No, I actually
I'll bring it in.
So the 16th, which is next Tuesday night, what's your pleasure? I mean, we're gonna be there half, 3/4 of an hour, right? Time?
What time could you be there?
I can be there anytime,
Same here.
so
Why don't we do it at 5 o'clock so we don't have to spend all
we
night?
can do that, we can do it at 5 o'clock if that works for everybody. I think Dwayne said that he can make an early time, right? And I'm trying to remember 2 weeks ago what he said, but I don't want to speak for him, but. So unless he has an objection to that time, then we'll set it for 5 o'clock.
I will get a hold of Mr. Silva. He can pass the word on his.
So Royce, or so whatever, yeah.
We're gonna post that appropriately, I assume,
Yeah,
so
it's
that we
gonna
don't
be,
get.
she's gonna, you gotta post it, right, that we're gonna
Yep.
be gathering.
I don't wanna get accused of having a illegal meeting.
All right, so that's done. Let's jump into old business. Community center update and the next steps. Certainly why we have some visitors in the back.
We have 6 out of 9 community center members here. Excellent turnout. And there's been a lot of discussion over the last few meetings about what's next. The closeness of the vote, which was, 7 votes, I think? Pat? 9 votes. Very close margin. Had some concerns with some about whether or not we should go forward at all. At least one other member wants to move forward full steam ahead with looking for land before doing anything else. And then we have the $25,000 that was approved by the voters to use for preliminary drawings. And the committee, and I would ask for any and all of them to come up to the microphone and give their own 2 cents here. I was wondering what the selectmen would prefer them to do as a committee. Separate silos of looking at land and pursuing drawings. Obviously, the architect that was at one of their meetings is correct. The land will dictate where you can put things on it in terms of water, soils, etc. But the idea of concept drawings was, regardless of what the land is, here's a rough, very preliminary square footage for a gymnasium, library, and a meeting room, maybe in between. And both Tim and Gordon have been integrally involved, so I'll be quiet here in between you folks and the committee. We can hear the thoughts of everybody else here.
Just one thing, we're talking about donated land. We're not talking about purchasing land. So that would be the first thing that we're exploring, just for the public to know we're not looking to
So
spend.
this is like a catch-22, right? The land dictates where you can put stuff, but ultimately what you want dictates how much land you gotta have, right? I mean, so it's,
Well, the committee has said, at least so far, they do not want athletic fields.
right.
So we know we don't need 20.
So we're really talking about a facility with the appropriate parking.
And expansion potential would be nice.
If possible. Yeah. I don't see any reason why we can't do both at the same time. That's my opinion.
Regarding the question of the vote, there has been, as Gary mentioned, there has been some discussion on whether or not the citizenry showed sufficient support for us to move forward. And I've been giving this a lot of thought, and I think I'm in favor of going forward. And one of the reasons for that is I think it would be a disservice to the voters that did vote for it, because I think what we're saying by not going forward is, yeah, we want you to come out and vote, but when you do, we're going to do what we want to do anyway, and your vote doesn't count. And I think that's the wrong message to be sending people. They got to know that their vote matters and that it counts for something. So I think that we should at least explore the land options. And as Tim said, when we prioritize it, we're looking first at what land that may be out there that could be donated, either as a tax write-off for the person donating it or some type of consideration on the name of the facility. If someone is looking for, some type of memorialization, on their for the future, by having their name attached to a recreation community center, library, I'm sure that that's an option that we'll explore. Nothing is cast in stone here. We want to explore all options, and as soon as we weed out, that, maybe we'll start looking at land that might be for sale, but that's as a last resort at this point. And then again, that would go back to the voters, see how the vote, takes shape there. So that's my thought on it.
What's the number as far as acreage that you think you need for what you're proposing for a facility plus expansion? 10, 20, 30 acres?
So far, I think 10 is adequate, what we've been talking about, including parking. And let's assume that you could use all that land, which is rare in Maine. Let's say usable acres of the parcel.
Then did we not talk about anywhere from 10 to 20, something like that? I believe, right, I have to go look back in minutes to find out for sure. But I think that, minimum of that, and then maximum could be.
We've tossed around a lot of numbers, but like Gary says, a lot of times with wetlands and setbacks and, all that land's not usable, so, 20 may get you what you need, or 10 might do it in a different situation.
Are there specific zones in town that you gotta narrow this down to, as far as codes?
I don't think so. I think if it was a problem, it would just be a conditional use.
I think the real issue would be access, I think, more than anything else, right?
You don't want to be out in the boondocks.
I guess the concern, one of the, for whatever reason, we don't show the property that was donated originally, which was for the library, which is what, 5 acres or something of that nature. Why doesn't that show on the tax map?
In terms of the town ownership, you mean?
Yeah. Or a lot? I mean, when you pull up the middle school property, which is 83 acres, right, that they own, and you look at the lot that adjoins that, or adjoins that, which is Dayton Sand and Gravel, which is 26 acres, is that not what part of that?
It goes right along, if this
Yeah.
is the roadway, it's right there.
Right, but that's a 25 acre lot.
Right. Yeah, it was not all of that. I guess
I
the
find
deed
it
was
hard
never
to believe,
filed.
well, I find it hard to believe that that's a 25 acre lot when the one next to it is 1.8.
Yeah, I think that's, that 25 acres may be an error, and that may very well be the lot.
That's, yeah,
That
I
is
think,
supposed to
you
be.
might be right.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
But
We tried to look into it when this first started, and it was pretty muddy.
Well, I would guess that the donors of that land back then appropriately took a tax deduction. And I was told by one of the principals there, they did not want it back. But there was also a reversion clause in the deed to the library or the Friends, and I'm not sure which one it was deeded to, that if there was not a library there, it would go back to the donors. And I don't think the donors want it back. I don't blame them, because they would have to undo that tax deduction for that year.
As far as I know, they don't want that, Rosemary, unless my couple would get on that.
Well, that 25, which shows 25 acres, which I don't think the tax map is right.
It was under 5 acres.
Yeah, it
was very small.
4.5.
It says that it was Dayton Sand and Gravels in 2007. It went to Gaspizak, Foglio,
And Dana, right?
Dana in 2008, and then back to Dayton Sand and Gravel. And it was in 2008 and 2010, it was exempt. So there's something wrong with that.
So was that Dayton's Pit there where the middle school is now? Is that correct?
No.
No?
I mean, that was years and years ago. It was a Rickard pit, I think. It was, anyway, I just think that, we need to somehow straighten out, is it or isn't it not still part of the picture? And
Well, there's some water
why-
issues on that
Yeah,
parcel, as
and
we
why
know.
isn't it designated on the GIS system? Because what shows there now is 25, it says 25.5 acres, and there's no way that it's 25.5 acres.
I agree, yeah.
So,
Gordon, I can say that after I left the meeting and did, sorry, my mask had been talking loud. I can say that after I left the meeting, our last meeting, and thought about the vote and considered what some of the committee members said and all, I was in total agreement with what Gordon just said. I was going to say that today, but you beat me to it. That we really need to do whatever the voters want us to do. Because, there's enough government, things that are happening, either at county, state, federal level, whatever, where people aren't doing what the voters want. And I think we really need to. I'm in total agreement with you on that.
yeah. I think sometimes we get kind of off on a tangent because we say, well, it didn't pass by much and all that. Talk to the town of Buxton. They just had a Board of Selectmen elected by a vote, okay?
And a reversal.
And a reversal of that vote. So they don't say, well, it was close, let's do it over. Let's do it over, right? The vote is the vote. So whether you win by 1 or whether you win by 20% or 40%.
But there's a difference when you ask for 25 grand and you want to win by 9. You want to ask for $2, $3, or $5 million. What's going to happen then? It's a lot of work leading up to it. And we just want to make sure we have a backing and to take all these people out every a couple Monday nights a week and keep going in the news for years and years. And then we're going to say to the taxpayers, now we need $5 million or $3 million. How's that going to go when $25,000 took and we barely made it? I don't think it's a question of doing what the town people want. I think it's a question of what they're going to want down the line. If they're going to say, okay, here's $3 million. Sometimes it's tough to a vote for food. Bigger bucks.
Well, we've already had somewhat of an experience with that, right? When the library, Friends of the Library and whatnot, spooled that all up. They had pretty extensive architectural drawings and everything else. We even had the middle of the model of it. There was a lot done for that, and you're right. And one vote, it's gone, and I'm not sure that you can just pass that off in one vote and say, "Well, we didn't get it. See you later," because we're going to this isn't going to be something that's done in a year or 2 years, probably 5 years, right? I think we all recognize that this is a long-term commitment. So if you're looking for a vote that just, says we agree,
But I also think of something else too. The vote that just happened with the $25,000 was not advocated for, was not really publicized, other than one ad in the Smart Shopper that we had, and maybe a few other things people talking about occasionally. And it passed by 7 votes. Now, okay, it only passed by 7. What would have happened if we had advocated for it? That would be my question.
I think that gets back to anything that
Yes.
happens to be on the warrant, all right?
Yes, no, I agree with you.
If it's truly, because I think the comments that you saw in and around on social media was, well, we haven't even approved that we want one yet. And my comment back to some of those folks was, well, I think we do, because we have a comprehensive plan that's gone through an extensive amount of work, and one of the top priorities that came out of that was this community center, and that was put to the voters, right? So, and then it's the obvious, well, we didn't know, right? But So I think, yeah, it probably might have had a different outcome, maybe not an outcome, but a larger number to support had it been really publicized, okay? And I think going forward, I think you have to take, every step that you take now says, if we don't educate the public on what we're doing, then you're gonna end up kind of back at the same spot, right? Gonna put in a number of years of effort and time and some town money, and all of a sudden, it's a big no. But that's the will of the vote, right? So,
My question leading off of that statement is, we've discussed that in our meetings, and one of the problems is we don't have a budget, obviously, we don't have any funds currently to do so. I think that's, in my personal opinion, a little concern of if we do want to educate the public, which I do. I would like to move forward with this as well. Maybe that could be another question at another time or something, where we can figure out how we could gain some funding to
well,
start.
I think, going back to when we talked about the, moving to 25, I think that was, part of my whole argument was you need money to operate this committee on, right? Some of it's going to be used for potential architectural renderings or whatever the case may be. You're certainly not for $25,000 going to get any detailed architectural work, but conceptual sketches and whatnot certainly can be part of that. But beyond that is the committee needs funds to operate on. So, in my mind, and I can't remember how the wording was, but I'm not sure that, is the wording such that they're held exclusively to architectural rendering?
It seemed like it to me.
It was pretty close to that. Maybe you could squeeze out some additional promotional materials, but I wouldn't go spending it on other things.
No, but it's not going to be thousands of dollars you're going to spend on something out. It's going to be money here or money there for knowledge, increasing the knowledge base, right?
I mean, I would hope we would get bids that are well under $20,000 for the preliminary drawings, if we do decide to do that.
I think it's also important to note that the previous vote for the library was defeated, and out of that were some concerns that people expressed to us, and we listened. One of the issues was that it wasn't just for a library, but if we had included a recreation component to that, that might have passed. But just for a standalone library, there was, some reservations that people had. So we did listen to what the voters had to say, even though it was a disparaging vote in the eyes of the Friends of the Library.
And this is a completely different set of voters. You have senior citizens for a walking track, you have young families for kids' athletics, voting, community suppers. There's a whole lot more going on in this facility than was just going to be that library. I think that makes a big difference at the polls. How much, I don't know. And the committee's heard me kind of ad nauseum in the meetings I do attend that there needs to be a very significant fundraising component to this if and when we get to that point. In my mind, 50% is not too high a goal for locally raised dollars before you go back to the voters for actually borrowing money. Because they're, what they're talking about, what we're talking about here is a very expensive building to build and run.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to,
I think it behooves us to articulate how it's going to be used. I mean, a relocation center for victims of storms, bad weather. I mean, we don't have anything capable of handling that type of thing right now. Large events, so one of the arguments we heard was, well, there's no place in town if we wanted to have a family reunion. There's no place large enough to bring everybody in to have something like that. And this would have a host of ancillary uses. The recreation component, I know that Todd is pulling what remaining hair out, just trying, he has to turn kids away, and I'm not talking 1 or 2 kids. I'm talking 30, 40, 50 kids, out of the recreation programs that he has and the aftercare program that really benefits a lot of, working people in this community. And I know it breaks his heart, to do that, but he just doesn't have the space. And the library is, is just so overwhelmed down there. They don't have any, space for anything. The kids' reading groups, literacy programs, adult using computers. It'd be nice maybe if we could walk into this high school and, have a computer lab in there that everybody could use, but that's just not the case. So, they depend on libraries to go in to do job searches. You can have job fairs in a large building like this. Vendors coming in to set up booths and so forth so that prospective employers can, interview people right there for a job market. It's just, you can probably brainstorm ideas all day long, to compile a list of, how it's going to benefit the community. And yeah, your taxes might go up, a little bit. But there's a trade-off in everything in life. And you got to weigh one against the other, I guess, to see, what the advantages are versus the disadvantages. I'm done my spiel.
Well, the recreation department would be, in my mind, be smart to locate it there. And this year, Todd, revenue was well over 200,000. In fact, you were over $210,000.
217 plus.
A high percentage of the programs, or the budget rather, of his budget is raised, and there's a significant revenue component to having the rec department over there run and help manage. You might need some additional help to manage because he works too many hours today. But this place would be rented out for family functions, etc. And it would be available to all, but there would be a fee, and that's a good thing. Help defray the costs.
So, what are you looking for from us?
I think the main thing was the board's authorization to go out and seek land on behalf of the town.
There's
Just
3 options.
As a courtesy.
Yeah. I feel like, if I can just read from the
Yep.
paper that Gary sent us, there's 3 kind of options that we were coming to you with tonight. The first,
You're not reading off your phone, are you?
I am. My printer's not working, so I'm just choosing which one I want to read off first. First, pursue preliminary architectural drawings to give the public a base cost and possible idea for the facility. So basically, what we came to you asking for the vote for and what was voted for. So that stays as number 1. Next on the list would be to first pursue land acquisition for a parcel large enough to for the above criteria. I'm just I can read from my phone. I just want to make sure that I'm reading the ones in order. So preliminary architectural drawings first, or first land acquisition, and put the architectural drawings on the back burner for now. Simultaneously, over the next half year to 2 years, however long it takes, pursue land acquisition research as well as the preliminary drawings, like kind of work them hand in hand. And finally, if you think that we should disband the steering committee and community center effort at this time, altogether.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking and as I said early on, and this is a catch-22. You really can't do one without the other. So I think you have to go down both sides of you got two stovepipes, right? One's got land acquisition in it, and one's got, what are we gonna put on the land? And I don't think, at some point in time, you gotta merge those two
Yeah.
together, but I don't think you're there. So, I mean, I think there's gotta be a, some effort to, and I think you gotta sit down and start to target where are some opportunities here, and certainly now that this GIS system is up, you can do that on your computer now and find out right from the tax map who owns what, how much land there is, and everything else. So I think that's certainly part of, and I think you got a big steering committee. Part of it goes on the land acquisition efforts, and the other part goes on the, and I think somehow you have two subcommittees that shake hands occasionally and work together to figure out that, well, we can't do that because, it doesn't look like we could get land to support it, or, or the size, or, yes, dear.
We feel like at this point, we need to expand the community, bring in more residents, because the more people that we have that are actually representing the town, and a lot of us wear dual hats on the committee, would have a broader base to spread the word, and would also have more people to work on the committees. And so that we can strategically look for people that we will need their expertise. So if we can reach out to the residents, see if we can't bring more people on the committee, I think we'll have a better chance of being successful and then doing different tasks.
Do you have a number?
We thought no more than 20, more like around 15.
Okay, so there's
Total.
there's 9 now, right?
Like 9 now, if we
And,
brought
and
in.
9 that are all active, right? It's,
For the most part, yes.
Yeah.
Does April want to stay on, Todd? Okay.
It's better than one typical,
Yeah.
you know.
She moved to Scarborough. She's still working
There's a
for
lot,
us.
building a new house. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll answer that question in time.
yeah, I don't think, I think, there's no sense of us saying, okay, let's go expand the committee if we don't have candidates to do that. So, and those candidates have got to somehow come from the current group that starts to say, well, I know somebody or
I
whatever.
have
So,
a couple people interested
but I think it's, from our perspective, it's, I think just it's not a charter-driven committee, so I think we can put as many or as few people on it as we want. So I would say if you can start with some of the recommendations and whatnot, we'll fill out the sheets and we'll talk to them about going on a committee. And I think we just have to have a kind of a consensus up here of what's the magic, how many's too many. I mean, please don't, anybody watching this, don't take this wrong, but we have an 18-person board of directors at the school. I can't imagine how they get anything done because they got 18 different opinions. But so you've got 9, and if we added another 6 to it, that would be 15, and that might give you enough hands and legs and arms to do what's got to be done. But I'm not sure that I would get too much bigger than that. Because then you're going to start breaking off committees and.
Well, I think that's the vision. The vision is that not all
Yeah, I understand.
15 would
You're
be-
going to have subcommittees. It's just a matter of, there's still got to be a coming together of all the subcommittees.
Well,
Right.
maybe,
Right.
maybe we have chairmanship and only the chairs of the committees come together. There's different ways.
So I would say I would certainly support moving forward, and if you've got some recommendations and people want to join the committee, I think we got the basic structure. We'll add some, I guess, at-large people, right? I mean, we identified who was gonna be on it initially, and I mean, we're not specific that, oh, that person has to come from recreation, or that person has to come from.
Not moving
library.
forward,
I think
no.
moving
I know,
forward,
I
we
think-
just say, hey,
Yeah.
folks wanna be part of this, then we'll appoint them to the committee.
I agree with that. One thing I think, you ladies that are here from the committee, and you too, Todd, never mind you guys up here, everybody knows what the vote was and how close it was. What are you hearing from the people you deal with on a day-to-day basis outside this building? Are you hearing good things, bad things, in between things?
Well, the people I talk to, it's all rec center, they're all, you know, they're quiet, most of them have kids in my program. You know, I think it's not the ones that we deal with every day, I think it's the other people, some of maybe the older folks that don't think they're gonna find, you know, too much of a use for it. I think people that are scared about what it's gonna cost them in the end, which, you know, I don't blame anybody for that, you know, it's gonna be a big project. So I think we just need more information. So information is the thing. Let's tell, you know, I mean, myself as a taxpayer, I want to know what a rec center is going to cost me in the end too. I mean, it only makes sense. You start talking about big buildings and basketball courts and libraries and computers, and all people are going, oh my God, my taxes. And if we tell them it's only going to be an extra, you know, $10 a month, and your kids get to have all this, it's going to make a big difference. So I think they have to be informed. You know, people I talk to obviously follow it because they're in my programs and they see what's going on. And I think it's everybody else that we're getting convinced that it's going to be for everybody, not just for basketball players up there.
I think if you looked at, you know, social media input that was floating around before the vote, I mean, there was, you know, certainly there was a group of folks that were no, and this and that, but there were a lot of people, I thought there were a lot of people that were, we absolutely need something, right? And
Absolutely.
so I think you get,
To have people show up at a school and then all of a sudden have the high school basketball team walk in and say, sorry, we need the court. I mean, you
Yeah.
kind of see what's going on, you know? So,
I also heard from one person who felt that that it was important to involve the community and to be creative about how it's built. Like, and they use the pantry as an example of citizens within the town coming together to support. You know, it's obviously a much smaller building, but if there's some way that we can be creative in how we go forward and make sure we include individuals, I think they'd be much more apt to participate in the whole process.
yeah.
I talked to my next door neighbor, who is an older lady. Her one son, I think, is in his 30s. And it was one of those across the fences discussions, because I was in the driveway and she was nearby. But I talked to her for all of 15 minutes and found out that she was one of the people who actually voted against the library many years ago because she felt it was going to be too big. But then as we conversed, I told her what we were proposing doing with like a community center, combining everything. She just stared at me and said, we really need that in this town. And I said, well, if we really need it, you need to go out and vote. I didn't tell her what to do, I just told her to go out and vote. I don't know how she voted, but that was the only conversation I actually had about this subject.
Well, it's gonna take a lot of work, and I think a lot of convincing and whatnot, and a lot of donations, so, but the bottom line is that people know that, okay, even if you could get a grant, community development block grant that would pay for part of it or whatever, when all's said and done, people know that all of that has to run. and it has to have an operating budget, okay? And I think that's the other piece that people are going, oh, wait a minute, it's gonna increase government, you know, and you've got, you know, this, well, I mean, we hear that every day on the news. Some people want to increase government and some people don't. So, and I think whatever you do, if you do increase it, I think it's got to be prudent when you do that. And I think that as long as you can show the, you know, the case that says this is why we're doing it and this is what it's going to benefit to the municipality, I think that that's palatable with most people. But we'll see. Yep.
Is there, I know it's been discussion in the meetings that we've had, but as far as social media presence, advertising in a sense for the next step and looking for landowners and stuff, how could we go about that process online? I know the people who voted for the community center who, because I personally spoke to them either via Facebook or via face-to-face, wouldn't have known about it if they didn't see me over the past year and a half on my personal page, posting something about it or, you know, asking just general questions. I wasn't sure. I don't want to cross any lines. I don't want to do anything against policies or whatever. So I just want to know what is safe to post on, say, Facebook or social media.
Well, I think
and where should we do that?
And we do have a policy, right? Parks and Rec doesn't have a Facebook presence, correct?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Oh, we do, okay. Separate than the town.
Yes.
Right. So there's a community for Waterboro recreational community, right? I know the library has one as well, but, so, to me,
We have over 1,000 followers.
right, so I would think you put your arm around David and you say, listen, we need, not that David, but Dave Miller. You say, we need, you know, a community for the community center, basically, right? And so you're gonna take the good, the bad, and the ugly with it, right?
Yeah, okay.
And certainly, you know, you'd monitor it for, somebody's gotta be the monitor, right? And, or administrator, so that, you know, if there's too much, you know, stuff that it really shouldn't, is inappropriate, then you have to block some of those folks. But I would think that would be a good tool. And I'm not I mean, you stand up here saying this, and, you know, I'm the first one to say I should delete all of my Facebook account, on my Facebook account, because I don't need to look at all of that stuff every day. But.
So you're saying that the committee could have a Facebook group of itself and invite Waterboro residents to look
Right.
and give them updates, and okay, that would be really great.
Now, I don't know how, I know that the town has a quote unquote Facebook community, right, that you can join. And I think Dave monitors that or approves that. And the other two somehow, I don't know if they're connected directly. I'm not sure how the tentacles all go out to the pages, but I would think that would be a good start. You're going to get both sides of the coin.
Oh yeah, I
I think it's important to get both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
I think those are the people that we reach out to and find out
Yeah,
what
I
their
don't-
fears,
yeah,
what do they want.
The last thing you want is all the people that are going to say yes, right?
exactly.
Because that's not going to challenge any of the thought process.
You need to be able to give the information out, whether it's good or bad.
And just for example, on the Waterboro community page that is available right now, I posted just the picture of the ad because I didn't want to say anything and whatever, just posted a picture of the ad that was in the paper. I turned off the commenting so nobody would have discussion, and then maybe a day later, a gentleman posted, "Could somebody tell me what Article 12 is all about?" Unfortunately, the Article 12 was different on
Yep.
the ballot, so that sucks. But we did start the conversation, and lots of people from the town were interactive, which was great. And I think a good thing that somebody asked who had no idea, and I think it's really important that we should be able to answer them right away, and let them know what we're doing. I've had people say, do you have land yet? And, and I've had to say, no, we haven't gotten that far yet, we're really just in the beginning stages, but now it looks like, hopefully, if you guys approve it, that we can work hand in hand and start approaching possible landowners, to get an idea of the size.
It's probably as good a tool today as, let's face it, people, I'm not sure how many people tune into this or stream it or whatever, or watch it after the fact, but we know how many people used to show up at town meeting. You probably could have held it in this room the last time, but so I think that, the social media is out there, and it's a tool that we probably should embrace, right? But there's some, there's some cautionary notes with that. But and I know we probably ought to dig out the social media policy that we have.
Oh, doing this is not going to violate that.
No, but
it's not a bad idea to do that.
But there are some things that are cautionary. People should know that, okay, I'm speaking for the town now, right?
If you're a committee member, you mean?
Right, if you're a committee member and you're responding, you're in essence responding for the town, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that those are where the precautions have to come in.
Right.
So,
And the price is right,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
You talk about a budget, you look at all the publicity you get for what? Just a little bit of time.
But I'm hearing, without a vote, I'm hearing a 4-0 consensus on moving forward here from the board. So we can make a splash now, I think, after tonight, unless they decide to do something differently, and make it a big splash, both in the written word and online.
Yeah, and I think if you got folks that want to join the committee, then have them fill out the apps, and we'll go through the interview process.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for
We need it in
showing
the
up.
form of a motion.
Yeah, if somebody wants to make a motion just to make it official, I'll accept the motion to that extent. That we,
I move that we authorize the steering committee to move forward in an exploratory manner, regarding property and the Facebook page and so forth,
And preliminary drawing.
and preliminary drawings,
and expanding the committee.
and the expansion of the committee.
Now, let me ask this question. Are you part of that committee?
Yes, I am.
Maybe I should make that motion.
Yeah, you can, well,
I will make that motion if Gordon
I'll
doesn't
withdraw
object.
my motion.
okay, so motion,
I'll have to second it. I'm a member.
well, one of the two of you
One of
have
the
to-
two you're gonna have to, but they can come back to me as the pivot point. How's
There's
that?
no financial conflict of interest.
Right, there's nothing here other than that what the voters have already approved. The only thing that we're really doing is saying, okay,
We're gonna move
we're
forward
gonna move forward.
with the things that we just mentioned.
So,
I have it.
did you get
Motion
all
by-
that motion?
I have a motion by Ted to approve, to authorize the steering committee to explore land acquisition, create a Facebook presence, obtain preliminary drawings, and possibly expand the committee.
Works for me, and Ted. well,
Okay?
Ted or Gordon, I don't care which one seconded. Gordon made the original motion and withdrew it, so doesn't matter to me. It's been moved and seconded, so all those in favor?
What is
All
it?
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tag, ladies, you're it.
All right,
Okay.
Night.
continued discussion, oh no, I'm sorry. Medical marijuana location discussion and possible zoning ordinance amendment.
Well, we have a definition section on medical marijuana growing facility. It is allowed in the AR and general purpose zones now, but the definition section restricts it to Route 5 and 202. which I know, and I remember the discussion, I think it was Dwayne that made that motion. That was the desire to have it only on those 2 roads, but we need to expand that to include the zones, if that is your wish. You can give myself and then essentially Lee J and the planning board your advice on whether or not you want to have it entirely Route 5 and 202. If so, then that encompasses more zones than the 2 we have now.
Well, if they've already made a decision on the A and R and GP zones, right?
It's in the ordinance.
Why do we add another qualifier in Route 202 and Route 4 or 5?
You did that in the definition, that's in there
Right.
today.
To me, I understand that, but, so in one respect, it says, oh, as long as you're in the A and R zone or the GP zone, right, you can have medical marijuana facility, but it has to be on Route 5 or 202 and 4.
That works, if that's what you'd like.
No, that's what we have today, right?
Well, they're in conflict because the definition section doesn't list both of those zones.
Not only that, but who looks at the definitions for directions?
No, you don't.
And you don't. I mean, who would think of that?
No.
So
I agree.
actually, there's really nothing,
Town
is
hall,
my feeling.
town hall geeks like me.
But still, as a businessman, I mean, you're not going to come into town hall and be
I would
dictated by
suggest,
definitions.
I would suggest that you work with Lee J, take it to the planning board they need to clarify the thing. First of all, the planning board has approved in some form, right, either in a definition, the use of, or the existence of medical marijuana facilities.
In 2011, the selectmen did this definition change. The last sentence.
We approved it, but it came from the planning board.
Yes, thank you. Medical marijuana grow-only facilities shall require a conditional use application as set forth in Article 2 and must be located on 5 or 202 in the A and R zone. So we can fix that by putting and the general purpose zone in there and then not have to change that text in those zones if that's what we want. The other problem here is, the state is not informing us of where these facilities are. And I don't know if they will or not. I don't know if HIPAA laws prevent that or not. I haven't been able to get a straight answer, and I need to talk to some state folks, I guess, probably in public safety.
I just think if the definitions say A and R and GP, which is what you said, right?
No, they do not. They say just A and R. The back in the individual uses allowed in the individual districts.
So where does the GP zone come into? Like,
I
it's not?
don't know the genesis of that unless it was done at the same time and it was an oversight.
Well, I guess I'm asking you, is the GP zone not, if I'm in the GP zone and I'm on Route 202 and Route 202, can I have a medical marijuana grow?
I would say in the section of GP, it would allow you, but the definitions say no, they're in conflict. We have to fix that.
So they need to fix that.
Yeah. And it was amended at the same time by Selectmen, essentially, in February 2011. So we will get something together and fix that, which is a fairly quick thing to do. But
I'd like to see some restriction on how close or in what proximity they can be to a school.
The state does that. The state has very strict
Okay.
regulations. The only thing they let us do is decide where they go. But when they want to, they have strict regulations. But that was Sanford's problem, was they weren't policing their own regulations.
Yeah, and if planning board comes back and says, well, we think as long as it's an A and R zone or in the GP zone, we don't care what road it's on.
then that can be their recommendation to you, and you folks do or do not do that. So, sure.
I mean, because in essence, I can understand controlling what you can do in a zone. I have a problem with saying, yeah, but you gotta be on, you've gotta be on a state aid road, or, we've got that all over the place.
Well, that was because at that time, that was the only pot around, and we wanted it to be visible. But now you can grow it any place. And it's not the issue it used to be in 2011.
All right, so you're gonna have Lee J take that to the
Yep,
planning.
we'll work with him in the planning.
All right, last item, continued discussion on driveway culvert installation and cost. Do we have any more information, or are we? We were gonna kind of toss this over to the road review committee, right? But I'm not sure that there's enough people on the road review
They're ready
committee
to
to.
do that.
There's enough, but they haven't had a meeting yet.
Right. And I'm okay with having them come back to us, but my concern is what it's costing us. What it's costing the taxpayers to fulfill this ordinance. So,
Were you at $1,300? Was that
In that neighborhood, yeah.
minus the culvert price or in addition?
The culvert price is covered by the homeowner.
So 1,300 in addition to the culvert,
Yeah.
time and materials.
The biggest thing that I can see right now is it's time constraints. We just don't have time to do everything we have to do and 30 driveway culverts.
all right, so, and that was really the start of my diving into this thing, right? Is that we got a small road crew, or public works crew in this town. And we're out putting in culverts for driveways, right? So I understand that the way that the ordinance reads today, the town, quote, has to install them. That doesn't mean that your crew has to install them, right? I mean, you can find somebody that will put them in per your direction, right? And contract a number, right? I don't know what that number is, but the concern that I have is that the town of Waterboro is subsidizing everybody that's putting a driveway in the town of Waterboro, just so we can say, well, it's put in right. A lot of money, just so we can say, yeah, but they're in right. And how many problems did we have before? Not $20,000 or $30,000 worth of problems because culverts weren't put in right. So I think it's the unanticipated consequences of that driveway ordinance. When we're putting them in, if it's costing us $1,500 to put it in all the homeowner is paying for is the culvert.
I don't see why the homeowner isn't paying the whole thing. I buy a piece of property and I want to put a house there, I gotta have a driveway. There's zones or codes and everything else that I gotta comply with my contractor that I hire to do that. That's just part of it. All you'd have to do is drive by, yep, that's good, check it off, or the code enforcement guy can do the same thing. We shouldn't be paying a dime for that stuff.
It's just a holdover from another time. It's
Well,
like, we don't need
the
to be doing
holdover is that ordinance in the road review committee, driven by certain people, didn't want the code office involved in it. And I understand that. We had a road commissioner before that approved entrance permits. We now have a public works director. Little different story, right? So I would think that the ordinance needs to be fixed, right? I don't know if the way the ordinance is written today, that we don't have the right and the ability to bill the landowner.
We don't, the way it's written now, other than the cost of the culvert.
Okay, so that's gonna be fixed.
I view it the same way as, we don't put in septic tanks for people, you know.
But we inspect them.
But we inspect them and they have to get a permit for it and, you know, so I view the culvert in the same respect. It should be rolled into the construction cost. But if I remember back, though, when it was Mr. Foglio that was talking about making sure that all the culverts were put in correctly, is because when homeowners did it on their own without installed them improperly, what happened was it was washing out a lot of the roadways. They had to rebuild the side of roadways, and one I can think of right off the top of my head is going up the road that goes by the high school. I can't even think.
West Road.
The West Road, going up the West Road. There was a culvert up there that was put in incorrectly, and anytime that there was a large rainstorm or whatever, it washed out a section of the road, so it cost more to repair the damage than it would have to put the culvert in correctly in the first place. So I think that was one of the reasons why it was voted on back a long way, just to have the town do it.
I don't disagree with having the town control how it's put in and whatnot. We don't necessarily need to do that with our crew. David could hire somebody and say, I got 10 culverts, driveways to put in, and we're gonna pay that person, just like with today, we pay our crew, right? But while he's putting in 20 culverts, he's not doing other work on roads. That's my concern. And I think that the thing has gotta be fixed so that the landowner's gotta be held, is gotta be responsible to install a culvert. The price of installing a culvert.
Like any other part of construction.
Yeah.
That's the way it is in Arrowhead.
And would you rather have that control of passing the bill on to the owner, but yet still you be the person that checks off on it and hires the person to do it,
Yeah.
rather than just leave it all up to the homeowner?
I think we should do it the way that Scott does in Arrowhead. He and I both go out and look at each one and tell the homeowner what we recommend they do. And then he goes back and he inspects it when it's done. And it has to be in the proper place, the proper depth. It has to meet all the ditch lines that are there. And I think that that's the best way to do it.
And if it's not correct, they don't get an occupancy permit.
What do we call that ordinance?
It's not under D?
Why would it be
Dog
Why would
ordinance.
it be under D?
Driveway?
Oh, driveway?
Entrance,
Or
not
would it be under
entrance.
C for culvert?
Driveway entrance,
No, it's not in there.
another driveway entrance.
No, not as an ordinance.
No, that's just the driveway permit, I
Oh,
think,
yeah.
unless it's part of that. We'll bring that back in 2 weeks. Let's revisit the same issue,
And
Sherry.
and I don't care, I mean, if we don't have, if the road review committee is not gonna meet and whatnot, then we need to take it upon ourselves to change the language so that we're gonna at least pass the cost on to the homeowner. We can still say that we're gonna do it, or control who does it. You can hire a contractor to go put in the next 25 of them, as far as I'm concerned, so that our guys can go do something else. But he's gonna do it, that contractor's gonna do it the way you tell him to do it.
Right.
All right, we'll come back with policy or ordinance recommendations 2 weeks from tonight, at least for a start.
Well, this is about culverts, but not necessarily driveway culverts. Have you been up McLucas Road beyond the old McLucas farm? There are 2 culverts up there that cross the road that are just about totally exposed, and that gets terrible washouts down through there, if you remember
I
right.
have not been out there this spring yet, so
Yeah, I was just up there a couple of days ago.
I'll go up tomorrow and take a look at it.
You'll see there's two of them that they're,
Address them before they get damaged.
Well, there's some that are completely non-functional and destroyed farther uphill too, so. But those are in the area that looks more like a riverbed without water.
Above the Lucas place.
Yes.
yeah, they're above the McLucas place, but before you get to the sharp turn that goes up to the, what
Oh,
mountain?
that's where you're talking, I thought you meant before the Lucas home.
No, after the McLucas
Oh.
farm. There's two, there's one, I think, just before you get to the McLucas farm that it's not totally exposed, but you can see where there's some issues. But you can't miss the ones beyond it. They're totally exposed. So,
We would have to go up there in
Not in
a
the
side
zone,
by
not
side
in the zone ordinance either.
or on ATV.
yeah. I'm happy to get my brother-in-law to bring you up there, because that's who I went up with, and he just bought a side-by-side, so.
All right. Anything else? You're gonna bring that back? All right. Item 11, discuss the vote to approve the minutes of June 18th and June 25th.
So moved on both.
Second?
Second.
You weren't here last one, right?
Right.
Tim was here,
I'll
so
second.
second. Then moved and seconded. All those in favor of the 18th, of the 25th? 301.
301 for the 18th?
No, for the 25th.
Okay.
Okay? Any agenda items that we don't have already identified? Right, two interviews, right?
As long as we still don't have Ed's application yet.
I do.
Oh, we do? Oh, good.
Two on the 23rd?
Two on the 23rd,
Start it.
5:30.
5:30.
On the 23rd, we're starting at
Good to know.
5:30.
Right. And 5 o'clock next Tuesday night at the Susie Lane.
We'll be thinking about ATV ordinance discussion, whether or not you want to have a question on the ballot this fall. And
That's, you have that on the agenda, right?
and culvert continued discussion.
And what else? That it? I'm sure something will come up.
I've got additional McLucas extension information, but I'm still trying to get more out of the Allen's attorney, and I don't know if that'll happen.
Well, all that being said, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Good night, Irene.
7:26.